News from Buckingham Palace, Prince Philip has passed away. The Duke of Edinburgh and husband of Queen Elizabeth died earlier today at the age of 99. The palace says in a statement, His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Let's get right to Maggie Rulli at Buckingham Palace with more on this. Maggie, good morning.
And good morning. Yeah, we saw the flag as it was lowered to half-staff earlier this morning. That's exactly where it's going to stay until the day after his funeral. And, just a little while ago, a notice was also posted on the railings outside of Buckingham Palace here. And over the past couple of hours, Diane, we've just seen people streaming in and out of Buckingham Palace in front of it here, paying their respects. We've seen some people even laying flowers in remembrance of his legacy. In addition, the palace did release a statement about his death this morning. I want to read a little bit you now. The palace says it is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen announces the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Now, Diane, I know you and I have talked over the past couple of months because we know that Prince Philip was in hospital for a month for a heart procedure. He was released about 3 weeks ago. So we now know that he was able to spend his final days, those final 3 weeks, at his home at Windsor Castle, seeing some of his family. And that's kind of what we're doing today, remembering that legacy, mourning him, but also celebrating his life. 99 years old. That's an incredible life, and he really lived every single day. When you look back at some of the work that he's accomplished as the prince, he had more than 20,000 solo engagements, 20,000, Diane, more than 2,000 trips throughout the UK and abroad. He was a hardworking royal. He was one of the first royals to really tackle environmentalism as a huge tenet that he supported, something that he's passed on to his son and grandson, something the royal family still champions. So, his legacy will live on. All of his work will live on. And now we're just seeing the world coming out, remembering him, mourning him, and also turning towards the Queen. Diane, I feel like I have to mention her today as well, because while we all mourning the passing of Prince Philip, this is also the Queen's first day leading this country without her partner by her side. It's been the two of them, since they got married in their early 20s. Grew up together. They formed what the UK and the Commonwealth look like together. So, today, yes, remembering Philip, but also looking towards the Queen and thinking of the entire royal family as well. Yeah, difficult day for them, no doubt, Maggie. And we know it's early, but I understand you're learning a little bit about funeral plans. Yeah, Diane, exactly. Normally, a royal funeral would be something that was commemorated widely, really shuts down the country. But obviously, these are not normal times. We are still under a strict lockdown here in the UK. The coronavirus pandemic precautions are in place. I mean, even with this group gathering behind us, we've seen police sort of making sure a crowd doesn't gather outside Buckingham Palace right now. So when it comes to funeral plans, a lot is still up in the air that we don't know. But we do know it will be smaller than normal. We expect about an 8-day mourning period, an official mourning period for everyone here in the UK, and the royal family has about a 30-day mourning period as well. So whatever the size of this is, the whole country will definitely take a moment to reflect on Philip and his legacy. We've already seen statements pouring in from world leaders. So this is just the beginning of people really remembering his legacy and talking about the work that he's done as a prince. Diane. All right, Maggie Rulli in London for us. Thanks, Maggie.
For Prince Philip, who passed away today at the age of 99. So as is protocol, palace staff brought the notice out to the gate of Buckingham Palace for it to be on display for the public to see. So they put the notice right on the gate there. And then the flag is also at half-mast above the palace.
Yeah, so it was about 3 weeks ago that Prince Philip was released from the hospital after a month-long stay as he was treated for an infection. The Queen has issued a statement through the palace following her husband's death. It says, "It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen announces the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Further announcements will be made in due course. The royal family join with people around the world in mourning his loss."
Now, the Queen will reportedly enter an 8-day mourning period. He is expected to be buried at Frogmore Gardens in Windsor Castle. There will be a royal ceremonial funeral in Windsor with a military procession, but he won't lie in state. Philip reportedly said he didn't want all that fuss when he passed, which is a very Philip thing to say. He reportedly was involved in planning his own funeral before he passed. The palace has confirmed that the funeral will adhere to COVID-19 guidelines, and they're asking people to not gather en masse to grieve.
Yeah, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tells us today It was with deep sadness that I learned of the passing of the Duke of Edinburgh today, a man of great purpose and conviction who was motivated by a sense of duty to others. Prince Philip contributed so much to the social fabric of our country and the world. Prince Philip will be remembered as a decorated naval officer, a dedicated philanthropist, and a constant in the life of Queen Elizabeth II. The thoughts of all Canadians are with her and the entire royal family as they mourn this significant loss.
Yeah, two of his children, Princess Anne and Princess Edward, recently gave an interview to ITV about their father prior to his death. Anne reflects on her father's decision to end his own career to support the Queen.
It shows a real understanding of the pressures that the Queen was going through, and that the best way he could support her was by giving up on his career.
Well, at least the image that certain parts of the media, news media, would portray of him being slightly sort of irascible was always an unfair depiction. But that was only that because he used to give them as good as he took, and always in a very entertaining way. My father was always capable of being able to manage interviews in a way and say things that the rest of us always dreamed we could say. You ask anybody who had the privilege of listening to him speak or any of the events that he hosted, it was always his humour that came through and the twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, 99 years old, like quite a life. And I think about Philip that he was a guy that kind of stayed behind the scenes a little bit. Like when I follow the royal family to a certain extent, but yeah, I feel like I know Elizabeth a lot better, obviously William and Harry and Kate and Prince Charles. But yeah, it always seemed like Philip tried to stay out of the spotlight as much as possible. Like what Edward said, yeah, he had that rebellious side to him. Like remember the clip a few years ago where he's saying, "Just take the effing picture." But yeah, that's what people seem to remember about Prince Philip. But yeah, what do you take away from the life of Prince Philip?
I mean, you know what? I mean, just to be very honest, this passing is a bit polarizing. Some people feel one way, some people feel a complete different way. And, it's hard to live your life as a public figure and people either love you or hate you. I think that is the case with Prince Philip. In this situation, 99 years, this is an individual, whether you love him or hate him or not. He is someone that gave a lot. He gave a lot back. And I think that's what we should remember is the positives that he gave back as much as we can. But yeah, to live 99 years and to be for the people in that way, and that your whole life is dedicated to that, it says a lot. I don't know too much about Prince Philip. I don't follow the royal family, in full detail, of course, but I never, and I'm just saying this because I'm seeing what's going on social media, and I'm not a fan of celebrating people's passings in a joking way or a mean way. Right. I'm just not a fan of that because there are people who are still alive who are grieving, and who are going through pain, and it's not nice to put salt on people's wounds. So I'm very sensitive about that, but otherwise, I just think that he did do a lot of good things, and that's what we should focus on right now.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, he served his country, he was in the military. So anyone that serves their country in the military, you have a lot of respect for. And yeah, I mean, the reality is, of course, UK is very split in terms of the people that are very pro-monarchy and people that aren't. Reality is